welcome to this week's video. Last week I posted a video of me climbing Crag Vale on my road bike, which got quite a lot of views and a decent amount of new subscribers, so thank you all for subscribing. It also meant that I reached the milestone of over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I thought I'd do a quick question and answer video answering the questions you kindly left on my post both on YouTube and Instagram. I got an interesting mix of questions, but I'll start with, what is your background? How did you get into cycling? So I started cycling in 2012 when I was 13, when I joined a cycling club. My brother was really inspired by the London Olympics and wanted to try road cycling, so we went to a Cycle Derby taster session where they had bikes to try, and I really enjoyed it. I then joined Cycle Derby Cycling Club, where I took part in off-road cycling sessions to develop my skills. I really enjoyed the cycling sessions, and cyclocross racing was encouraged as it's a really relaxed way to try racing in a fun environment. During my time as a youth rider, I also got into other types of cycling such as road cycling, and when Derby Velodrome opened a few years later, track cycling, and then I took up mountain biking just after that. And really, since then, I haven't stopped cycling. I absolutely love it. I continued cycling when I went to uni, mainly on the road and cyclocross, with a bit of mountain biking in the summer when I was back at home, and then have continued since then. Really, my cycling progressed a lot from a non-racing perspective during lockdown, where I started riding further and further and doing different kinds of challenges. So one of my first challenges that I decided to try was bikes and bridges, crossing every motorway bridge on the map of Leicester and Hinckley. Quite random, but quite a nice idea. And I did it with my brother, and we took 3 days doing about 40-45 miles each day, just ticking off the bridges. One of the other challenges I did was cycling A to Z by bike, so picking a place with each letter and then cycling them in alphabetical order. That took me a week, but that was a great way to explore. And then the year after, before I started my proper job after graduating, I visited every place in Leicestershire by bike. I did Rutland the same summer, and then I've been slowly working on Warwickshire since. So that's been quite a slowly progressing project. I reached 50% last year of the places visited. I haven't done any distance riding this year, so I haven't ticked off any new places. Although I will get back to it at some point because I did really enjoy that. And it's nice to explore somewhere new. One of my other questions was, do I race anything other than cyclocross and mountain bike? Which you'll see various videos of my races on my channel. The answer is no, not currently. I did a bit of road racing as circuit racing, so both as a youth rider and as an adult. I wasn't a particular fan of road racing. I found that at the time I wasn't strong enough to generally stick with the group, although I did a few times. So I occasionally dabble in it. I did it a few years ago, haven't really done it since, but if there was something I wanted to do, I wouldn't hesitate to try it again. And likewise, time trialling. I did the team time trial at uni 1 year, but haven't done anything since, although my club is hosting a round of the local time trial series this year, so I may try it. The same with hill climbing. I would like to do a local hill climb, I just haven't fit it into my racing season yet, because it falls at the same time as the cyclocross and other events. That question also asked, have I done any Audax? And the answer is, I did one. I did my club's one last year, which was a 200-kilometre ride. That was really fun. That was my furthest ride ever. So I'd previously reached 130 miles riding solo, but my Audax was 150 miles total because I rode to the start, then I rode back, and when I got home I had 8 miles left to do to reach 150 miles, so I did that. And I also have a YouTube video about that if you want to see that ride. I really enjoyed that. I'll definitely do some more Audaxes, but I like to start and finish my rides from home, which limits which rides I want to do. As I'm already travelling to races, it seems unnecessary to do more travelling for rides when I could start my rides at home. A lot of my other questions related to my Strava art rides, asking how do I plan them and am I doing any more? Although my recent Crag Vale video has had a lot of popularity, a lot of my older subscribers, or if you scroll back through some of my videos, will know that I'm quite keen on Strava art rides. This started with a reindeer, but I've done many Christmas rides since then, including twice where I've done the Festive 500 through Strava art rides. I've done various other themed rides, including Halloween rides, which my skeleton that I did last year was very popular and made it into the local paper. This year I also animated my Easter chick hatching. So doing different rides of my egg shaped with extents of the cracking getting bigger and bigger until it became a chick. That was quite fun, although a lot of riding. So back to the questions. Will I be doing any more? Yes, I'm just not sure what. Really, the next themed occasion is Halloween. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do for that yet. But for Christmas, I'm sure I'll come up with something exciting, although I might not do the Festive 500 this year. And how I planned them? I have got a whole video on that if you want to check it out. But basically, the reindeer that I started with was me just plotting a route to see how long it was, extending my normal route at the time slightly further north, and then looping back round. And I got about 2/3 of the way through that and thought, this is beginning to look like a llama. And then it turned into, well, if I add some antlers and a red nose, it'll be a reindeer. So that was very much discovering it by accident. But most of my other rides, I try to pick a shape, look for the main roads that make up that shape, and then add in the details. Although when it's zoomed out, it doesn't really matter how much detail you put into it, because you won't always be able to tell. So my skeleton actually had 5 fingers. You couldn't really tell. My snowman, I did each of the coals for the mouth and the smile separately, which then helped me because I didn't have to cross the railway where there wasn't a bridge. I just kind of did half a smile that way, half a smile that way, and joined it up, and it worked fine. So it comes with experience. I spend a lot of time looking at maps, not just for plotting shapes, but also just plotting general routes, deciding which roads I want to go down. So in Leicester, you've got very considerable horizontals, both through the city centre and further south. You've also got 2 diagonals that way. So they make up a lot of the basis of my routes. Or if you're going through the city centre, there's enough roads that hopefully you'll be able to plot a route the way you want it. And the last question I got was, what's my favourite food after a long ride? Now, at the moment, I'm not doing much long riding. I tend to go out in the evenings, an hour and a half, and then do a similar distance at the weekend, rather than spending my evenings doing other stuff and doing long rides at weekends. But if I do long rides, I'd say my favourite food after is either something with rice, so some kind of chicken or pork with rice and veg, or at the moment, chicken and bacon pasta bake is one of my favourite foods as well. And if I'm doing a short ride, my favourite food for after is probably cake. I like baking a lot, so about 95% of the time there's some kind of homemade cake in our house, and I will generally go for a slice of that. I hope that's been slightly interesting, learning some more things about me. But if you have any other questions, stick them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them. And a massive thank you to everyone who subscribes and watches my videos. If you've got any suggestions of videos that you'd like to see, please also let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. And a massive thank you to everybody who's subscribed, both recently and been a subscriber for a while. I massively appreciate your support. I really enjoy filming my rides and races, so I'm glad you've also enjoyed the videos. Thanks for watching. Bye!